Let me start with the introduction of our two speakers here. So the first one is a Flutter enthusiast and a content writer. He loves writing packages and currently working as a SD1 in Flutter GitWorks. Okay, the another one is a techie person, and he's also a Flutter developer. So he likes to read and work on different technologies. He's working on Node.js, and he's working in the same organization. He's in GitWorks and working as a Flutter dev. So please welcome Tanmay and Vipin. So yeah, Tanmay, you can start.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. Hi everyone, I'm Tanmay Karmakar, and we'll be discussing on Flutter uh, backend and API development using Dart. So, I will be starting with the API integration and the API development and the Supabase integration, and it will be followed by Vipin, who will integrate the API and show the use of the application in the application. And a special thanks to Ashwin Gopinathan. So I have learned many things related to the backend development from him. So just to give him a appreciation for that. Okay, so we'll start with our main coding session where it will be a total creation. We will write the code from scratch and also see the outcome accordingly. So first we will be starting with the Superbase integration with Dart. So I would like to know from everyone's like, have you worked with Superbase before? Anyone who has heard of it?
Yeah,
Anyone?
I have. Yeah, I have used in my production application.
Okay. That's good. So just to give a basic knowledge about the Superbase is that it's a so it gives us ability to use authentication. It has these database facility, so it is similar to Firebase. uh, if we can either use Firebase or Superbase according to our needs. Okay, let me just admit everyone. Okay, so here what we'll do is we will start with a project creation. We'll create a project in Superbase and then we will use that as our project base. So we will do everything from scratch so that nothing is hidden from you. So we'll be creating a new project. Let's just name it Flutter Festival Demo. Okay. It will take some time to set up the project. In the meantime, we will continue with our PPT. So we have created the project. Now we will be creating the database. Once the project has set up, then we'll be creating the database. It will take few minutes to set up the project. In the meantime, what we'll do is we will create a Dart project. So to do that, what we will be doing is we'll be creating a folder. I have created a folder which is Flutter Festival in my on my desktop, and then I will be opening a terminal there, and I'll start by creating a project. So the project that I have created is has I have named it as server. Okay. So I have created that project and I will open that using VS Code. So this is the project. So if you see here, you will have a server.dart in your bin folder. Okay. So this is our project. Let's see if we have the project setup is complete or not. Yeah, retrieving the project statistics. Okay. So what we'll do is we will create a sample data in our database. Here I will create a new table. I'll name it to do table, and here I will have two additional fields. One can be title, the type is varchar, and the next will be description. We will keep it simple so that we can show all the process in a single in 1.5 hour time limit. So we'll create a varchar field for description. Okay. So now what we'll do is we will add a single row, a dummy data, just to start with. So we don't have to put the ID. We'll just give a title which will be to do one. Description can be anything. This is a sample description, and we'll save it. So we are doing that. We are doing this to get a sample data in when we'll be creating the API. Okay. So the process of creating the table is complete. Now we'll start with the Dart server configuration. Okay. So while before we start with the project, what we'll do is we will have to have few dependencies, or you can say packages in Flutter that we can add to like simplify our code base. So here we'll be adding args, and then we'll be adding shelf and shelf router and Supabase. So just to give you a brief idea about all these packages, args helps with a raw command line input. So what happens is that whenever we are hosting something in server, we have to give some command through the terminal, or we can give some command using the environment variable. So to get any data that we put through a command line we can parse those using args package. And then we have shelf and shelf router. Shelf is easy to create. It helps in creating web servers using Dart. So here we will be using this to start our Dart server, and we'll be using this to create our APIs. Then we have Supabase. It is a package that helps in integrating the Supabase project into our application. Okay. So the first code that we'll do is we'll be adding a server code. Here, what we'll be doing is we'll be adding the host, and we'll be creating the server code where it will uh, check for ports, and if the port is not given, we will be using a sample port, and then it will start the server. So let me do that. Okay. Okay. So first we will start off by importing some packages. We'll import IO, and we can do the import later. So first what we'll do is we'll be writing a const host name. And for now, what we'll do is, since we'll be using this in our local machine, we will be using localhost. Later, we will change this according to the requirement. So I'll just later we will change this, right? So now I will be writing the main function. Here we will start with the argument parser. So first what we have to do is we have to import that argument parser in our pubspec.yaml. Copy. Okay. So these are the packages that we'll be using. We'll add that and we will run dart pubget. Now we will start with the argument parser. So I can import it now. So this line just says that we are adding an option of port with the abbreviation of P, and whenever we start this main through the command line, it will search for it, and if it gets the abbreviation P, it will take the argument and then save it in the results. Now what we'll do is we will get the port. We'll use this result and we will take the port value from this result option, and then we are checking with a null check where we are checking if this is null, then we will get it from the environment of the server, like the service that we'll be using. But if it is not provided in that, what we'll do is we'll be using a default server port number, which is 8080. Now, what we'll do is we'll be adding a check, and we will check whether the port is not equals to null. Then we'll just print out that could not parse the port value into that into a number. Maybe we have given some string values which we were not able to convert. So this will give you return the error. Okay. Okay. So now what we'll do is we will start with the shelf package integration. So if you see here, so this is a self pipeline. We'll be importing shelf, and then we have the services, but this we will write later. So here you can see that we are creating a pipeline using shelf, and what happens here is we are adding a middleware, which whenever any request comes, it will go through this middleware and it will log the request on the terminal, and then it will go to the handler, and we'll be creating this service in a later part of this event. So let's keep it that way. And now what we'll do is we will start the server using two line of command. Okay. So this is what we have to do. So if you see here, we have used await. So in order to use await, we have to use async in the function name, and then we have to import shelf IO. So the shelf IO we have to import it using this. So if you see here, we have used a host name. So we'll be using that host name here. So what this will do is it once the main function is called, it will start the server using the host name and the port. And then it will print out that we are serving the request at this port number and the host. It will give us the URL. Okay. So if you see here, we have created the first part of our server, and this is ready to go. So if we now we just have to add the APIs that will be integrated in our application. Okay. Let's continue. So what we'll do now is we'll be creating the API and we'll be adding Supabase helper class. So here what we'll do is we'll have two APIs. To keep it simple, we have only implemented two APIs. One is get API and another one will be a post API. So the get API, what it will do is it will get all the to-do data from the server, and the create to-do will create a data and add it to the server. Simple. So let's do that. For that, what we'll do is we'll be creating a service.dart file. Here we will start with the integration of this shelf router. So we will be importing few files. And now we will start with a class, service class. We'll create a class named service, and then we will write a handler method. So it will be a static handler. We'll write a router, and then we'll be returning the router. Okay. Now, in between, what we'll do is we will be writing few APIs. First, we have a get API. This get API is with this, it will end as all to do. And what it will do, it will get all the data from the Supabase server. The next one will be a create to do, as we discussed. This will be a post API, and it will get the request. It will get the body. It will read the request in a body of map, and then it will send it to the server. It will create a new record. The next one will be a fallback API, which will take in all the other command, and other than or the one that we have written out here. So any APIs that are not included will go to this, and it will give a response of API not found. Okay. So we have to create now a Supabase client helper. Now, here what we'll do is we will create a new file which will be Supabase helper.dart. Here we'll be adding the helper class. So let's do that. So now, if you see here, I have created a class named Superbase client helper, and here we have created a client. And we have to put some values here. So what are those values? If you see here, if you go to that project, you will see that in the API section, you'll be able to see anon public and a URL. So we need to copy this URL and paste in this area. So the first argument will be the URL, and the next argument would be the anon public. This is the password for that. Now, once this is done, we will be creating a function, which is we have created a function get all to do. What it will do, it will it will get all the to do all the rows of data from the to do list. But what we have created here is we have created a table named to do underscore table. So we have to make that as it is, to do underscore table. And then we will be getting all those data, and then we will be creating a map and sending that response to the API. So a response.ok, and we will encode the data in a JSON format. Similarly, we will be creating another function which is create to do. It will take in a body, and what it will do is it will insert a new data, a row, into the to do underscore table. And then it will return a response of the data that we get from the Superbase server. It will generally return the data that we have updated in the server. So for now, we have created all this. We will just import the service.handler. So here, I think I have named it. Okay, service.dart. Okay, so our coding part is complete. We have created the server, and then we have added the helper classes. Okay, so till now, if we have followed through, we have completely created our server code. So the only thing that will remain is to update it in the to host this in a server. So now we have completed this. We will start with the first quiz, and I will hand it over to sort of.
Let me share the quiz link with you all.
So we'll be sharing you a quiz link. It will be a Google form. You have 16 minutes to fill that, and we'll be getting the result. The, you'll have you'll be able to win prizes. Okay, so we have the quiz link. You can start with your. You can start the quiz.
Yeah, and we
So we will wait till we'll wait 15 minutes, and
let's
then
wait 20 minutes, Tanmay, so that everyone can complete it,
okay.
and then we can.
Yeah, Gadvi, we'll be giving out the second link at the end of the event, so you have to stick till the end. Okay, so let's start with the API. So we'll start with the deployment of the API in using Heroku. So I think you have most of you have worked with the APIs, and while you are during the development, you have to upload your API to a server. So what Heroku basically is, it's a service which gives us the free. It, so it gives us a free place where we can upload our code, and it gives us it runs the server in the machine data centers. So what we'll do is we'll be creating a new project in Heroku. So let's do that. Let's go to Heroku. Here we'll be creating a new project. We'll name this Flutter Festival. Mhm. No dash. So Flutter slash Festival. Okay. We'll create the application. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to we have to like do the login using Heroku, and then we have to create the repository and upload it. So what we'll do here is we'll be following these steps. So first and the foremost thing that we have to do is we have to go to settings. We have to go to this config vats. So we'll do reveal config, and we'll add a new config. Here, what we'll do is we'll be adding the Dart underscore SDK underscore URL. So here, what we have to provide is we have to provide the latest zip package of the Dart Dart release. So here I have a URL. So we can basically do is we can go to the website and get this from there. Okay. So I will just try to do that just to show you from where you can get it. So Dart SDK, get Dart SDK. Okay. So here we have to get the SDK for Linux. So it's 2.6.1. We have the x84, so Dart SDK. We have to use this URL. So cancel. What we'll do is we'll copy the link and paste it here. So you'll see that it is the Dart SDK Linux 60 x64 release zip. It is the same as the one we have here. We'll add this, and then we can continue. Okay. So now what we have to do is in order to use Heroku, we have to add a proc file in our project. So let's do that. So here we have to add a proc file, and what we'll have here is we have a simple line, a single line, which will be this. What basically it says that we have to run this bin underscore server whenever we start the build. Okay. Now we will initialize the repository in Heroku. So we will start with the git init. Basic thing, basic git command. So what we'll do is we will open our terminal and then we'll do a git init. Okay. Now we will get the remote UI. So what we'll do here is we will go to this overview, deploy, and from here we'll be able to get this UI, get this line. Okay. So we will paste it out here, and then we'll add that. We'll add all our code. We will commit our code, and then we will push it. Before we push, we have to add one more line, which is we have to set the build pack, right? So what is a build pack? Is it is a custom made set where it basically tells the server we have to run a Dart server, and we have to install Dart package, and then we have to run the server. Okay, so we will get this line. So we have, if you, we can't we will not copy it from here. What we'll do is we will go for the Flutter build pack, Dart pack, build pack Dart. This is created by this person. We have to go for the URL, GitHub URL, this one. So we'll copy that. Let's do one thing. Let's copy it from here. Let's go back. Okay, I have copied that line and I will set it here. So this will set the build pack in the Heroku terminal, Heroku dashboard. Okay. So now I will just push this code. So I will do git push Heroku master. So what it will do, it will push the code and it will start a process. So it will start a deployment process. So if you see here, you can see that we have a built-in progress. We can see the logs. You see that what it does, it will download the Dart SDK and it will start the server. You have to wait for a few minutes and we are done with the deployment. It will take some time. Okay. So you can see it has set one more path variable. This is automatic and it says that it has deployed the API. So what we'll do is we will copy this URL and try it in our browser. Build finished. Okay. So we have to wait for a few minutes because it will start the server idle from its idle state to running state. So it says that it has deployed it. Okay, so we can go to activity and log. We can see the log with using one line. Okay, let's check our code. So here we have to see that logs here. Okay, I think our server has started. Okay, so this is how we will be able to see the logs. If we have done any mistake, we will be able to see it here. So as we can see here that we have started as a local host. So now I think I remember that during my during the start when we started this coding, I have written here. Later we will change this. So what it basically did is it started the server in the local host of the data, like the machine that it has hosted, right? So what we have to do here now, we have to change it to 0.0.0.0, and then we have to re-upload, redeploy the code. Okay, so I will close the. So I will start a new terminal here. Let me just see. Okay, here I will just do. I will run the same lines. So what I will do is I will push it from here. So updated the host name. Now we will push the code again. This will start the build process again. Okay. So now, if you have done everything correctly, we will be able to see the API result, which will be this one: API not found. Yeah, so our deployment was complete, and now we can see that while when we run this URL, we see API not found. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's run this API, right? The basic. So the thing that it will do is it will get all the data from the server. So it says internal server error. Let's see what's the issue here. We can do is we can try to run the other line. Okay, so we have made another mistake, which is simply we have not imported this code, right? Just a small mistake, and we are done. Let's just do the same thing again. Sorry for doing this. So we will just do a code upload. Okay, I think we will be done with the deployment now. Okay, we have the URL. Let's try it again. Okay, so here you can see that we have received the data, which is to do, and we have the created ID, title, and the description. Simple. So let's just confirm that by adding one more data into this table. This will be to do 2. This is the second description, and we will save it. Okay. So according to our API, we will get the new data. Okay, and that's it. So we have uploaded the API, and now we will work with the integration of that. Before that, let me just share the slide again. And what we did is we created 3 APIs. Sorry, we have created 2 APIs. So these are the 2 API, which is a get API. We have used all to do. So it will get the all to do data from it will get the to do data from the database, and then we have a create to do, which will create new entry in the database. And then we have the last, and it is a fallback, like all the other URL that will be triggered. It will go to this all, and it will just return page not found. Did it
Oh,
answer your question?
yeah, there are two more questions. One from Subronil and one from Surya.
Okay.
So, Subronil, if you want, you can speak out yourself. That it would be good for us. Like we would be interacting with each other.
Yeah. So interaction is the best thing that we can do. So
Shubhra, would you like to unmute yourself? Or okay, let me go with the question. So, Subronil is asking, where did we create the to do? We missed that part, and please mind it
so
explaining it
can
again.
you explain your question, like what? So the to do is like we'll be creating that application to do application, but first what we did is we created the API for that application. Did that answer your question?
Actually, Tanmay, I was asking like there was a UI screen, right, where you just went and added a new to do, the to do two.
Okay, okay, yes, yes. Let me show you that. Right. So this is the Supabase project page, and you can see that I have created a table which is to do underscore table, and here I have the data. One is to do one, and it's to do two. We can insert it using this section.
Okay, okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's answer Surya's.
Surya question. Yeah, Surya, would you like to? Okay. His question is, can you please explain about Supabase?
Okay, so see, Superbase is a simple. It is an alternative to Firebase. If you have previously used Firebase, it is a relatively new thing, relatively new. This Superbase, so it is an open source project, and it gives you the basic functionality that is in Firebase. So it has the authentication. You can authenticate with Google, Apple. So Superbase is innovating with new login techniques also. It has a login with Notion at this moment. They have added, and they have the storage facility just as Firebase. Similarly, we have a database. So here, a database, we have a table type database. In Firebase, we have a cloud storage, document type also. That is a document type. And here we have a table type storage. Did that answer your question, Surya?
Yeah. Hi everyone.
Hello, Ayush.
Yeah. Hi. Can we do all the things with Superbase which we can do with the Firebase, like push notifications, storage, like and all, everything?
Yeah, as of now, so Superbase has not yet integrated all those things. It is
Okay.
in development. So as of now, we just have a storage, we have database, and we have authentication.
Okay. It's like, do we have any advantage if we shift from like the established player in the market, Firebase to Superbase? Yes.
That depends
Have
on
we
your
done?
project.
Hmm.
That basically depends on your project, what type of
Okay.
things that you want to integrate in that.
Okay. So is it like cheaper than Firebase? Like when we
Yeah.
talk about Firebase, we feel like in on large scale project it's much costly, right?
Yes, exactly. So this is as a $25 premium feature project. So that is a very good thing.
Oh, great, great. Yeah.
Yeah. There is another question from Surya. He says that any main project available in the public. So yeah, so basically what I have did is while researching for this thing, I have also created a Medium post. So you can directly, if after this event, if you want to get know more, what you can do is you can go to the URL that I have, like the Medium post that I have created, and also you can create your own. And I have also updated this in GitHub, so it is free. Sorry, it is in public. It is a public repository, and you can check it from there. So this is the URL. You can follow this, and all the things that we have discussed here, will be discussing here, is inside in this Medium post. Thank you. Sorry.
Hello, am I audible now? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Ayush, coming back to your question regarding if Firebase, what is the actual distinction between Firebase and this
Yeah.
thing? Yeah. So basically, I was also working on a similar platform, right? I was using Firebase for a very long time. Actually, the problem with Firebase when you will be scaling your application is basically locking. Okay, so Google has their lock-in in place. So whenever you want to use any other things from any other cloud storage platforms, right? Be it Azure, be it AWS, you cannot really switch over to them.
Okay.
But in this case, you can approach for different things and different these things without having the challenge of lock-in. Also one more thing, since this is open source, you can really deep dive into what they are actually using and replicate on your own if you have your infrastructure in place. So due to any condition, suppose Firebase is not supported in your country, or something happens where Firebase is not really able to produce the results you want to have. You can actually you can put in your own infrastructure and own things into place. So there won't be you can replicate it. Okay, to
Right,
work.
right.
Yeah.
Hmm. Also, the another case, if there is anything custom we need which is not in the Firebase, so we can try to develop that in on our own, right?
Yeah, so in case of custom things, you already have things in place for Firebase, cloud. These cloud functions are there and other things are
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Right? It gives you a certain bit of uh, a place to move around. But then,
hmm
uh, yeah, like you five like the functions are really costly. Okay, to
right, right.
be
Cloud function is costly.
yeah to
But I also found that in Firebase, it's not very conventional to import or export the data. What would you say? Like, how can I, if I have a bunch of Excel files, how can I
yeah
upload that data on
yeah
Firebase?
that is a problem.
Yeah,
So I also face this issue. Actually, for this issue, what you can do is take help from admin APIs. There are something called the admin
yeah, yeah.
APIs
I
in
tried
this.
that. Like, I found there are a couple of solutions for that, but that's not the direct solution. I would say. Like,
No,
one is using Node.js client actually.
Node.js is the very basic. Node.js will be your what do you say, underlining thing which will help you out. But then, yeah, there are no direct methods, because other
Exactly.
than that, there will be a bit of problem.
Yes, so like
Yeah.
I connected it with a Node.js and then just put the JSON and put it into the loop and post it to the database. So there's no direct function or something in the UI, right? Like if we are migrating from SQL to Firebase, then we can't directly upload all the data.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
that's it.
guess Tanmay can help in this a bit.
What can help?
Uh, Tanmay, if you want to add in
Yeah.
about this.
No, I think you have covered all the things. So basically, that is the main thing, that there is
Mhm.
there are few things that you can do similarly, but then everything comes down to a cost and also the requirement of the project. So that is the main thing.
It's like Firebase is good for prototyping if you want to develop a quick MVP for investors or something.
All
Then
right.
Firebase is cool, right? Like it's very good for rapid development. You don't
Yeah.
need to create everything.
Also, if you want to be in the GCP ecosystem, then it's good enough, because you can migrate to GCP anytime you want, right?
Yeah,
Anyways, when you are creating stuff in Firebase, you are eventually creating stuff in GCP, right? Whenever
right.
you want to use GCP related stuff like BigQuery or some other things that you are interested in specifically in this thing, so but you can really go forward with this.
Shall we start with the next part, where we'll be integrating the API with the application? Okay. So now I will hand over the screen sharing to Vipin, and he will start with the app development. Okay, Vipin, you can
Yeah.
share.
So, hello everyone. So we'll integrate the APIs that we've created. Okay. So for the time saving purpose, I've already created the kind of boilerplate code, like the UI and all. So let's go through with that. There's a one screen where we uh, show all the to-dos. One to get the button to get all the new to-dos, and one screen to add the to-dos. Okay, so let's see the code also. Uh, is code is visible?
I think you need to zoom in a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's visible.
yeah. So we have our entry point of the application, main.dart, the main application. Ignore this for a minute. The controllers folder where we add our basic logic, the main R application, material application, and two screens. Our landing page that contains the buttons and this handy dandy emojis, and this screen to where we have this particular UI code. Okay, and our helper class is there. where we have the common response for all the APIs, success and failure, and the common result, that idle loading and data error. So just a boilerplate code. So I've already added that to save the time. So let's get started with the API integration directly. So for the dependency injection, I've added the getit dependency. So we can just directly use that. So yes, I've added the base URL of the APIs, and let's add the API. Tanmay, can you please provide the endpoints? Tanmay, you there?
Yes, I have shared the endpoint in chat,
Okay.
and one will be create to do.
Can you please reshare? Yeah, got it.
Okay,
Create
copy.
to do. So let's just add this quickly over here.
And this is the base URL.
Yeah. And we'll integrate the two APIs that I'm getting. Let's copy above to add the to do and to just display all to dos. Oh, it's a tofu. Okay. So we'll integrate the quick APIs here. API result, like get to do. So we have created the common response model, and we're going to use that. That is the API result thing. So let me just quickly add return API result dot failure. For any error, we'll pass this and throw like this. Yeah. Yes. So okay, so for now we'll just going to print this result, that what we are getting, and later on we can create the model. Okay, we can comment this out, and let's call this to just check that what response we are getting. Where we can call this, we can call this here. Yeah. What is that API repository? So let's check that it's what data it is throwing. Okay. And yes, let's just debug it. Yeah. So we are getting all to dos. Okay. So let's just copy paste the model that I already have. So just to save the time. So we are done with that. So now let's have that thing. API result of type to do model. Yeah. So let's just check that if result dot status code. Oh, I haven't read that. So if the result, oh, okay, I guess it will be a response. Dot status code is 200. Then we have to just return the API result dot success with data of to do model, and it will be a JSON. So yes, the rest dot data, and we are done here. So it says normally it can null. So we can just make this null label, I think. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to use the block pattern for our state management. I think let's just see that what block is. So block is a kind of state management tool that Flutter environment have. So it does what? For each and every event can be anything. Let's say a button trigger, it's an event. So for each and every event, it will perform some logic and yield a new state, and state can be any output. So this is the kind of architecture we are following. So let's create the basic block, and I am using the kind of extension that developer of block library made, that is Flutter block by Felix Angelov. You guys can just check that. So yes, here's that. So it's a boilerplate code. Okay, and I'm using the freeze as a code generator tool. So we have to run a command. So Flutter pub run build. So now watch and or I can just delete conflicting output. So it will do just generate the basic boilerplate code for us, so it can save us the time, and it's done. So as a helper class, I already displayed. We have the common result state, and we're going to use this. So it will do what? For every event, it will yield the common state. So we can just directly use in our UI. For any API call, it can be a nothing. It can be a force state only, like it can do nothing. Maybe it will be loading, or data is loaded, or the error. So we'll be handling with this. So let's delete this. We don't need this anymore because we are going to trigger our own everything. Okay, so just make this quickly. Result state, and to do state we don't need. Result state initial. So this will have a kind of initial state for our block, that when it's get loaded, what should happen. So I want that it will do nothing. Okay, so yes, so our block is ready to handle the events. So there will be only two kinds of event that we want, that to get to do and to have add to do. So let's just quickly change this get to do and add to do. So let's run our code generator again to generate all the classes. To do event, and it generated all the classes. So let's handle all this. So for get to do, what we have to do, let's stop this, otherwise it will just keep annoying us. So initially, so let me just show it what block is doing. So we have the kind of base class of the block. We are extending that and passing a type we want. That block will check the events of type to do event and yield the state kind of result state. Okay, and so we can handle. So emit is a function which will kind of uh, pass the states to the UI. And initially I want whenever the any kind of event have, so we'll pass the loading state. And it's a constant, so we can add the constant here. So now let's catch use a try catch. For every error, we will do what? We will emit the state kind of result state of type error, and will for the just basic error handling we can print or emit the kind of error we have. So now we have this where we have to call our API to just get to know that what is happening in the behind. So API, just say response. So I'm using the again edit thing to get that API here. API result and yes, and get to dos. Okay, so now as a response we have kind of API result type, so we can handle with that. And so API result will give few things. We need to update, sorry, we need to update here and make this a asynchronous type. Okay, so it is giving two kind of things: API result when success or when failure. So we can just directly handle this, or we can imagine that when we don't have this kind of thing, we have to check if the status is this, if it has had data. So it will handling everything in background. So let's just handle these things. On success, it will have an argument of type data. Yeah. Okay. So it has the data of the to-do model, and we can use this. So and every success thing, we need a result state of type data, and we'll pass the data as it is. Okay. Or for every error, we will throw the same thing like this. So now our get to do logic is done. What we are doing here, for whenever this event kind of triggers, we will emit the state kind of loading, and we can just show the kind of loading spinner now. And then it is fetching the API data, then it is loading the response, and we are catching the errors. So now let's move to the UI, where we having a kind of emoji. Let's wrap this a block builder. So block does provide the kind of multiple widgets like block builder, block listener, block consumer, block provider. So what block builder does, it handles background with a set state. It will just build the UI depending on the event or the state we have. Same block listener. Block listener will only listen to the changes, does not build the UI. And block consumer can do both. It can listen also, it can uh, build the UI also. For this particular case, we only need to build the UI. So we can just do that. So I'm wrapping the widget with that and building the result state. So now let's import everything. And yes, yeah. Okay. So we are done with this. Now let's handle everything here. So return. So as we have used the result state, so we will have four types of handling, like idle, loading, data, and error. So let's check that it provides or not. So we need to return state dot when. Yeah, we have all four things. So at idle stage, we need our just emoji. On loading, we need to display a, or this we can do anything, but for now we can display a circular progress indicator. chapter, and it need to be constant because it's never getting changed. And on data, we need, we'll see what we have to do. Let's return the empty container for now. And on error, let's display a kind of, or we can just have a text widget saying the error is here, or it will have a kind of this. Yes. So we have implemented all the state. So it will not a constant. I think the says was expected to find this. Oh. Oh, okay. So it's saying the same name for both things. We can change this to add to do to API. And let's just regenerate this. Yeah, it's running build script. Yeah, it's done. So now let's get back to our landing page and do other things. So we need to do what on this particular button when user clicks, we need to fetch the data and have some call in the backend. So now let's do what we can just read the any kind of block we have with this context.read and the type of block we need to read. To do block dot add event. I'm adding the event of kind get to do. I'm done. Okay, now it says that we don't know that where is the to do block, so we need to add the to do block in our widget tree. So let's go to our highest possible place. We can place anywhere, but for this quick go, I'm adding the block provider at the top of the widget. So now let's quickly import all. And this no more be a constant thing now. This will be the constant. So now quickly restart the application by removing this code. I don't need anymore this. So landing page. Oh, yes. So it's hot reloaded. Now we can just turn the breakpoints off. Yes. So now I want to just check that our block is listening event or not. Let's check. Yes, it's listening the event. Yes. So this kind of map error. Yeah, but we are able to call the API. And let's check that we have the response of API or not. Yeah, we have the response of the API. Yes. So far so good. Yes, so let's check. Guys, do we need break or let's continue? Am I audible?
I think we can complete with the API integration. Just show we can show the data and then
Oh,
we can complete it.
okay. So just a minute. To do. So let's check our model. It's unable to pass the data. So where's the model? Here's the model. Now it says that type of string is not a subtype of model. So we haven't decoded the model yet. Okay, so let's go to our API repo and just add JSON decode and our source. So res dot data. Okay, and let's again call our API. Let's see. Yes, so it is able to. Sorry. So I think we have data. Let's handle the data field. Yeah, now. It's a landing page. So now let's have a kind of list view builder. So we'll take the context and the index thing, and let's return the list style with title. Let's add something first, otherwise it will throw an error. That will the item count. So data dot. So let's see. So it's a dynamic data. So what we can do, so where data is to do model. We are explicitly doing that. So let's see if it has the to do's dot length. There's something left here. We can check that. So data dot to do's dot index dot title, and it's saying what? Expected to find this. Okay. Now here we have the to do's that added from the backend. And let's add a subtitle as a description too, so that we can have a kind of so yes. So we are successfully done with the get API, and we are able to see the data here. Okay, and let's refresh this again to just fetch that. Yes, we are getting the data, and here's the thing: title, to-dos, and description. So let's integrate the another API quickly. That is the kind of add to do. So let's make the another logic, or let's integrate the API first. Yes. So let's copy all things quickly. So this will be a add to do, and this will be, I think, post request. Oh, sorry, it's a create to do. Yeah. So we need to pass some body or something else. So then can you please share the kind of body we need to share?
Yes, I'm sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can check the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's copy this and let's directly paste this up here. Something missing. Yeah. Now, yes. So on the title, we need to pass the title, and on description, quickly add the yeah, and we are done with that. So yes, we need to check that what kind of response we are getting. So let's see. So let's make another event in this to do. Let's copy this again. Add to do. This add to do to API. I've changed that event So yeah, kindly ignore the camel casing. So let's add to do, and we need two things. Okay, so it's saying add to do. So we need to go this event and accept the two things. That is a kind of string of title and that. So let's add the string title and string description and regenerate our it's a kind of required thing. Regenerate our model for this particular class. Yes. Five of six, almost there. Yes, we're done with all things. So now let's close this to just have no errors. So we need to pass two things, that is string title and description. So we can access that thing with the event dot and pass the dot description. So we are done with this, and we don't need to change anything because we already handle that things. So yes. So now only we have to listen the changes that API is done with the posting or not. So let's go to add to do screen and wrap a one thing here to listen the changes. Let's make the to do as a block listener, and it will listen the changes. Now let's quickly import, and it will yield the state kind of result state. Okay, so state dot when, or we can make that a consumer thing also, because we need to listen and build the UI dynamically. So let's make the block consumer and to do block. Result state and done. So state dot when, we need to handle these, and here also. So let's click return result. Sorry, return state dot when and done. So we need to handle this. On error, we need to do nothing because we are ignoring this. On data, let's say that we can pop the screen and handle that. So for now, I'm making these empty functions. So because we are not going to listen changes here, and let's yes. Now here we have the kind of in ideal state user can add the this on loading state. We need to display a kind of circular progress indicator, and we can make this constant too, otherwise this will keep it that error. And on data we need nothing, or we can say a text say it's loaded. So we can yeah. So on others, same thing. Let's copy this and yes, what we need to do now here, whenever the to do gets added, let's pop this screen and have this up here. So yes, so on the data state, when it gets just call the navigator dot pop context. So now let's hot reload our application. Let's see it's out there or not. It's nothing here. So what is happening? It's doesn't showing that button. Okay. No issue. So we can handle that up here. Or we can just directly, we need to just trigger the event. So go to this. Let's create a kind of action button to just submit the fields. Okay. And we'll trigger this validate function to just call this up here. And on validate, we'll add the context dot read. It's having the read. Yes, it does have. Now let's add the to do block. Dot add to do to API, and we need to add two things. Text field, we have the controller, so title field dot text and title field dot description field dot text. So we are done with that also, and we are ready to go. Okay, so let's hot reload our application, triggers that thing. Now it says it have an error. Context is associated and context dot watch. Okay, we don't need to add, but we need to update that thing. So we can add dynamically the context here. And let's test that. Test description. Now let's see that it works or not. It's an error, kind of big error. Okay. So now again it has error. Now where it's saying the error is. Build context, we use a builder to obtain the okay, no worries. We've missed something. Just give me a minute. Let's see what went wrong. So on block consumer state, we've yielded this and listening this. Yeah, it's been fine. Consider using the builder like so, widget on this provider. Let's check it giving error on this particular thing. So I think we can ignore this part, or we can just directly exit because this does have data. So let's ignore all this. Yes. And let's stop our application and rebuild that. Let's see. Yes, that's working entirely fine. Does it working or it giving same error? So now let's debug this. It is a basic. We only need to read, not watch that. And let's see. Result state of dynamic. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So for this, I think we need to create a separate block. So let's make the block separate for this to just add to do, because it is keeping that state normally, because it is doing main thread here. Yeah, main thread here. It just building the block again and again. So what we can do, we can just separate the block. Not here. Let's create folder like add to do and just generate the block. Generated successfully. And yes, we don't need this. So yes. Now let's rerun our code generator again. Yeah, it's done. We don't need this, we can remove. So now make this as a result state. Idle at initial. And let's make this as event. So let's copy that, cut and paste that event. And just replace all this. And let's see. So now let's reload that. So we are done, and let's check that. Now let's copy that event from here. To do. Now it's regenerating that. Let's wait for a minute. It's regenerating. We can just stop. Otherwise, it will keep on regenerating everything. Yes. So now let's re-import everything. It may give the same error. Let's change the things out there. Now it will listen the type of add to do block. Yes. Now it's saying what? Add to the library. Okay, so it is able to find the multiple block from this and these. So we can just remove one input like this one, so it will not get confused that. Yes, and now let's reload the application and add the main thread out there. and wrap this with mm, okay, we need to wrap this a multi-provider. So multi-provider will like column, so we can just reference that multi-provider, and it will take the kind of providers here. And we don't need this, and we'll paste here. Yes. And let's copy and add to the block out here. Add to the block. So reload the application. Let's check there. Yes, it is back to our normal thing. Now, mm,
Vipin, Lavkant has written that can you pass the context to validate function? So
yeah.
I hope he's trying to
See,
help you. Or...
validate function doesn't have context, right? And you are accessing context outside of this build function. So you need to pass this context.
Oh, okay. So let's pass the build context. Okay. Let's make that here. For now, so we are not using, so we can just forget this. So now let's test with the dummy data. So yes, it's coming on this, and see, it's calling the API or not. Nope, it's the same thing. Use the builder to obtain the build context that hexes this thing, and no longer watch. Okay, so it's a kind of failure to this. Will context how to do that. Okay, so let's check. It's saying that, and after that we have added this. Might fix this error. Now, see, so it doesn't make that sense. Let's try that again. At the global key of form state. It is global key of form state. But I don't think that it is related to that. It's again throwing this. So now just check that if last time we check, otherwise we can work with that too. You can I could not. Okay, so instead of that thing, so now let's instead we can Let's see that it works or not. First, now this contact will have this block. And
Vipin, you can do one thing. You can just wrap the whole scaffold with a block builder, and then just pass a object of the block to that builder.
okay, we can do that too.
Yeah.
Let's make that block builder and add to do block of with result state. Okay, and let's remove this text widget with that. Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Yes. Let's copy this button and put it outside this consumer, and we'll remove this consumer. Oh, yeah. Okay, and now talk of type block provider. Uh, Type, let's say, this can work like this. Block provider of add to do block. Okay. It is not getting that, so we can call the add to do block directly. We can call that. Yes, it is here. So now let's try. Now it's saying what? Oh, the mistake I've done is we need a same instance to just pass that here, and let's change that thing to add to do block and to do block dot add. So yes. Now let's check it's saying what. Now it's hitting the API, yes. So now let's check that. Now yes. Now yes, we have that our thing. Now let's test title and description. Now let's hit it again. Yes, API is hit it. And yes, now let's reload this. Yes, we are getting. So we have successfully integrated both APIs. Yes. So yeah. So we have created the project, created the basic UI, integrated the APIs, and mapped our response to our data models, created the controllers using block and interface layer, and update the UI. So yes, we are done with the API integrations.
Great, Vipin. So we have completed with the development and the integration. So this will mark the end of the presentation. So now what we'll do is we will start with the second round of the quiz. And yeah, so Shashwat, you can share the second quiz link and we can start with you.
Yeah, let me share. Yeah, go on. Let's first clear Surya's doubt,
Yes,
and
sure.
then we can.
Till the time you can share the link and we will clear that. So if
Okay.
possible, can you explain the architecture that we're following in this Flutter project. I was new, so that helps for beginners. Yeah, sure. We will solve your doubt. So what we did is we used MVC architecture, simply the folder structure that we used, and here we have used controller. Oh, sorry, you have used block with freezed annotation. So we have used a package freezed. What it will do, it does is that it auto generates code when the class is annotated using freezed. So we do that. So we have used that in our application. So the state management is used as block, and the other things are normally basic model creation. We created the model for the data that we received from the API, and then we have integrated it in the application. Surya, did that clear your doubt? Oh, that's great. So we have shared the link for the second quiz. You can use that link to fill out the questions. And yeah, so once you do that, what we will do is we will share you a form where you have to update your, we have to fill your name and some more details, and we'll be sending out the participation certificate to the participants.
Yeah. And along with this, yeah, we have shared the LinkedIn profiles of our speakers and members. You can connect with us and you can join our WhatsApp group. You can visit our page. There's a Hall of Fame which we'll be filling. If you have any project which you'd like to display, you can contact us and we'll be putting there in the Hall of Fame. Tanmay, you have any other plans?
Yeah, just I wanted to show you the our website that we have created for the Flutter Kolkata.
Yeah.
So it's flutterkolkata.dev. So this website is also created using Flutter, and the thing is that if anyone would like to contribute to the website, they can create PRs to the GitHub repo. It is open source, and yeah. So we have the link to join the WhatsApp group, and we will be updating all the future event details in this group. So I would urge all the members to join this group.
So this is the banner which has been provided. So let me share it.
Now we are open to take any questions. For 15 minutes, we'll be there and we'll take all the questions. Anyone would
Yeah, and
like?
quiz is available for like 30, 45 minutes to an hour. So you can complete it. That's it. So anyone has any questions or any concerns or anything else? It's not need to be
Yeah,
from this
it
topic.
doesn't
It
have
can
to
be
be a
anything.
question. We can discuss on any projects that you are working on and would like to like collaborate. All those things are there. So once also the thing is, once you join the group, WhatsApp group, you will be getting a form where you will have to fill it out, and we will add you to the member page.
Hello, hello, this is here.
Yeah,
So,
we can hear you.
yeah, so I was little late to join the meet. So, is it possible to can you share some like some documents for the Dart backend development things?
Yes. So I have created a document. I have created a Medium blog. So for
Yeah.
that, so just I am showing you and also sharing the link for that. Okay. So if you go to Medium, I'll also give you some links. So this
Hello.
is the documentation.
Yeah, I'm trying to join the WhatsApp group, but it says that the link is invalid.
Okay. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me share you another link in the group itself so everyone can join from here.
Yeah.
I think that link has expired. Okay, let me could do that.
Is
Okay.
it also happening with the link which I have given?
Can you try with the link that I have
Yeah.
provided in the chat?
Yeah.
So this is a Medium article. And also, I'm sharing one more, which is our publication account, and
Okay.
from there we have more coming.
Yeah, it's working perfectly.
Okay. Yeah, this is the publication account that we have, and we have
Oh,
multiple Flutter related documentation, medium articles.
okay. Okay. Thanks, Tanmoy.
Okay. So you guys are working in Flutter itself?
Yes.
Yeah. Can we contribute to this publication articles?
Yes, sure. You just have to request for us to add it to the thing, and
Okay.
once we review it, we will add it to the publication.
Okay. Okay.
You can just email us to
Mm-hmm.
add you as a writer for it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So we had a question from Shubhrani. How difficult is to start with Flutter from scratch? So, like I would say what I felt when I started with Flutter development. So at first you will find it like it is very nested. The only thing that you will find during your first time development is you will see that it is very nested in the sense that everything is in the same place. But once you start with that and you understand the basic things, you will see that it is very easy to figure out how it works, and everything is laid out very easily. Like what should be under what, it is like a complete flow. So it will not be very hard for you to understand if you know the Java programming itself. So it is for Dart, you can just easily do the same thing.
Like
Hey,
how
Tanmay,
I
I have
started,
one
I
doubt.
can add. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, go on, go
yeah,
on.
yeah. I have one doubt. So, in the current architecture, if I want to access a list of variable from one block to another block, so how can it be done?
Yeah, this can be answered by Vipin.
Yeah.
Vipin, are you there?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Yeah, so I want to access a variable from one block to another block. So how can we do this? Like from provider, if I am doing with provider, so I can just directly access from it. Or if I'm doing with a bare bone block with stream builder, so I
Hmm.
can access it like list of variables from another block. So how can we do this in like current architecture?
So there can be multiple ways to do that. So in this current architecture, we have used a dependency injection sync. So you can also do what? You can just register all the objects in first place in the void main function, and you can just access that from the locator itself. This is the first way. Second thing, you can use a block provider. Okay, so in that thing, you need to pass the type of block that you need to access, and you can just do block provider dot and the pass the type, and you can access that object. So there's a multiple way you can go with the anything. And the direct and easiest way that I've did to just bypass everything, so that is just create the object and get that state. That's simple.
But I would suggest like when you are doing this now, you should not pass value from one variable to other, or else what you can do is only keep the things that you require and pass it in a event. So that way you will have the variable data.
Yeah,
Nothing.
and it's the best practice to have the common object of every class. So it's not just create the new object and anything, and it will possess the data of any object.
Yeah, okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think everyone has filled the quiz form, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think yeah. So let's see if we have something at the end, or we can end this session then.
I have
Oh,
Dart with me, and there's another Dart which Ruchi has. So,
okay, let's
and
just roll it up.
one of you guys will be getting one of the darts as a first prize. So, I, I from that.
Okay, I'm taking the screenshot. Okay, let's have
Yep,
a big
thank you.
smile. One, two, three. Thank you. So you will hear from us soon, and you can also join the WhatsApp group, and you will be updating the details there. So we'll be having events every month going forward. So we'll update you in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Any other questions?
We'll
Or
be active on our Twitter and LinkedIn as well. So anybody who keeps an tab on LinkedIn and Twitter especially can get a hold of us.
right.
Yeah, and feel free to reach us out. We are available 24/7, maybe. But yeah, feel free to reach us out for any queries or anything.